Zimbabwe's political landscape is once again in turmoil. At the heart of the storm is a fierce succession battle between President Emmerson Mnangagwa and Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, a rivalry that has fractured the ruling ZANU-PF party and unsettled the nation. While Mnangagwa's allies push for constitutional amendments to extend his rule until 2030, a new and unexpected twist has emerged. Timothy Chiminya, a self-proclaimed traditional leader known as King Munhumutapa, has proposed a monarchical system with Mnangagwa as prime minister under a revived Zimbabwe Kingdom. This bizarre yet politically charged offer adds a new dimension to Mnangagwa's alleged efforts to remain in power beyond his constitutional term. It also deepens the rift with Chiwenga, whose military and liberation credentials make him a formidable contender for the presidency. Mnangagwa, now 83, is serving his second and final term under Zimbabwe's 2013 constitution, which limits presidents to 2 5-year terms. However, his allies have launched the ED 2030 agenda, a campaign to extend his presidency by 2 years to align with his Vision 2030 development plan. At the ZANU-PF annual National People's Conference in Mutare, delegates enthusiastically endorsed a resolution to amend the constitution. Justice Minister Zyambi was tasked with fast-tracking the legislative process. Legal experts warned that such amendments would require 2 national referendums, making the plan legally complex and politically risky. Despite Mnangagwa's public insistence that he is a constitutionalist, his silence on the matter and the aggressive push by his loyalists suggest tacit approval. Enter Timothy Chiminya, a controversial figure who claims to have been appointed King Munhumutapa by a spirit medium. Chiminya has proposed a new constitution for a great Zimbabwe kingdom, in which Mnangagwa would serve as prime minister, reporting directly to the monarch. Chiminya's document, submitted to the Ministry of Justice and other government bodies, outlines a governance structure where ministries and commissioners report to the king. He claims the right to install and dethrone chiefs, bypassing the president's constitutional authority. His actions have led to criminal charges for undermining Mnangagwa's authority and illegally appointing traditional leaders. Despite being arrested and denied bail for weeks, Chiminya was eventually released under strict conditions. His proposal, though dismissed by many as delusional, has stirred debate about alternative governance models and the desperation within ZANU-PF to find a way for Mnangagwa to remain influential post-2028. Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, once Mnangagwa's ally in the 2017 coup that ousted Robert Mugabe, has grown increasingly critical of the president's inner circle. He has publicly condemned corruption, targeting Mnangagwa's allies such as Kudakwashe Tagwirei and Wicknell Chivayo, who are accused of looting state resources and bankrolling the ED 2030 campaign. Chiwenga recently presented a dossier to the ZANU-PF Politburo, accusing Tagwirei of siphoning billions from the party. He demanded arrests and asset recovery, signaling a direct challenge to Mnangagwa's succession plans. The military, traditionally aligned with Chiwenga, remains a critical power base. Mnangagwa's attempts to sideline Chiwenga's allies, including the demotion of Obert Mpofu and the reassignment of General Anselm Sanyatwe, reflect a broader strategy to weaken Chiwenga's influence. Chiminya's offer to Mnangagwa may serve as more than a symbolic gesture. Analysts speculate that the prime minister role could be a plan B for Mnangagwa, an attempt to retain executive influence without violating the constitution's term limits. Under this model, Mnangagwa could step down as president in 2028, but assume a powerful prime minister position within a restructured government or symbolic monarchy. This would allow him to continue directing national policy while avoiding legal challenges. While the proposal lacks legal standing and public support, it reflects the growing desperation within Mnangagwa's camp to secure his legacy and protect his interests. The succession battle and constitutional maneuvering have sparked public outrage. Opposition parties, including the Citizens Coalition for Change, CCC, and MDCT, have vowed to resist any term extension through protests and legal action. Recent demonstrations in Harare, led by war veteran Blessed Geza, a Chiwenga ally, shut down the capital and resulted in mass arrests. Geza has accused Mnangagwa of corruption and economic mismanagement, calling for his resignation. The opposition argues that the ED 2030 campaign is a populist ploy that undermines democracy. Legal scholars warn that amending term limits will erode constitutional norms and risk plunging the country into authoritarianism. The international community is watching Zimbabwe's political developments closely. Mnangagwa's bid to extend his rule mirrors similar moves in other African nations, raising concerns about democratic backsliding. Western governments have expressed concern over human rights violations and political repression. The US and EU have maintained sanctions on key figures, including Tagwirei, citing corruption and abuse of power. Regionally, the Southern African Development Community, SADC, has remained largely silent, though internal instability in Zimbabwe could have spillover effects on neighboring countries. Zimbabwe stands at a critical juncture. The succession battle between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga is not just a political rivalry, it is a struggle for the soul of the nation. The emergence of Timothy Chiminya and his kingdom proposal adds a surreal twist to an already volatile situation. Whether Mnangagwa pursues a constitutional amendment, accepts a symbolic prime minister role, or grooms a successor like Tagwirei, the outcome will shape Zimbabwe's future for years to come. Chiwenga's resistance, rooted in military power and anti-corruption rhetoric, remains a formidable obstacle. As the 2026 ZANU-PF elective Congress approaches, the battle lines are drawn. The people of Zimbabwe, weary of economic hardship and political instability, deserve a transparent and democratic transition, not a power grab disguised as constitutional reform or royal appointment. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. We will soon be introducing memberships. Support our channel.